rocking with the voice of Town View. We put our spin on trending topics and school news. Thought-provoking, insightful, we speak the truth. We do it for all ages, not just for the youth. Listen close, you might learn something. Or laugh so hard, you split your side of something. Live stream a podcast. Whenever you tune in, it's sure to be a blast. Let's be honest, you don't wanna miss that. Content so real, you gonna wanna run it back. We keep you entertained while making an impact. Want boring announcements? Well, this is not that. Sports, pop, culture, political. Whatever you like, we got you covered, bro. It's a movement more than just a show. It's KSBM Radio.
Come closer to the music.
Broadcasting live from Marvin E. Robinson School of Business and Management, Dallas, Texas.
My radio station.
We are KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Welcome back, everyone, to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview. And today we have a special guest from the band, Mr. Ward. Yes!
Thank you.
I'm excited. So, Mr. Ward, do you want to give yourself a brief introduction to the people who may not already know you? You know, who you are, what you do.
My name is Mr. Ward. This is my first year teaching here at Townview. This is also my first year teaching
really?
In general.
Rookie.
Yeah. So I just graduated in May. I got the call to come down here and teach, and I never looked back since. I went to Prairie View A&M University. I'm a member of Kappa Kappa Psi, where I served as president. This is the National Honorary Band Fraternity. Yeah.
All right, so you brought up some music, but let's rewind it a little bit more. So where did you go to high school, and did you start doing band from there? You know,
I went to Mansfield Lake Ridge High School, so this is more of a core style type school. They play a lot of like concert music on the field rather than entertaining like pop music like we do. Yeah, it was a good experience. We got to march at UIO State Marching Band, so that's where my passion really came from. And after that I went to PV, and
So at PV, you know, how did that influence you not only as your music career, but as a person? And did that push you towards you wanting to build your career into music?
Yeah, actually at PV, I went as a computer science major. So
way different.
I was really into computer science. I loved to code and all that. But just as I was there, as I grew more and been in the band, and I spent 12 hours with the band before, you know, doing everything. So naturally, I just thought, I should probably do this, you know, for a job. Yeah, I might as well make money from this. So that's how I switched up to being a music major and ended up becoming a band director.
You talk about your growth. How did you take the transition from high school to college?
It was pretty difficult.
Yeah.
One on the band side, because I marched a completely different style. So it was a lot more physical. From what I did in high school, what we do now. In the classroom side, there's just a lot more free time, you know, in college. So you got more free time to make bad decisions.
So it can be like a double-edged sword.
It could be a double-edged sword, you know. And if you know, take some of that free time and just relax and take naps and stuff, you're gonna end up in a bad place. So definitely do not do that.
Before coming to Townview, did you know you wanted to teach, or did you want to teach in the future?
I didn't think I wanted to teach because I was a computer science major. Like I said, I would love to be a professor, you know, computer science and all that. That's what I think I wanted to do. So I think that's how naturally I said, teach for music. It's fine. Yeah. You know.
Was there something or someone that influenced you wanting to do this?
It's two things. When I joined band in 6th grade, I used to go to the State Fair Classic here in Dallas, where Grambling and Prairie View play each other in football. And I used to go there every year as a kid. Both my parents went to Grambling, so I would see the bands every single day. And it was just something that, or every single year, and it was something that I knew, like, in the future, I'm going to be on that field doing that. I didn't go to Grambling, but I ended up going to PV.
So you went to the rival?
Right.
What your parents think about that?
They hated it. Because my sisters also went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're the only one who switched up?
I'm the only one. my aunts, uncles, they went there. I'm the only one who changed it up.
Dang.
Yeah.
The whole family. All right, so you say you've been a part of the Big D Band for 1 year now. So with that 1 year, what have you learned? You know, what has teaching taught you? Some challenges?
I think the biggest thing that teaching taught me is that teaching is not about actually teaching, you know? Like, teaching is great, especially because I teach a special subject, so this is not something that everybody needs to know. It's more about the connections you make with the students and how you see them really grow and move on up into the future, because it's amazing to see the kids go from, I don't really know what I want to do, to, oh, I'm going here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm president of this. And it's just really inspiring to see what they do in the future.
And so far, what's been the best part of being the associate director of bands?
The best part?
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing, seeing the kids grow. And obviously we love to play and blow on other bands. You know, it's great to be able to play well and back it up. So that's something we do very well.
When you had gotten the call to come teach, what were you expecting from the school?
Well, I know that Townview has a big legacy, especially in band,
The Big D band.
of being great. So I wasn't really aware of Townview until I went to PV. And there, I met so many Townview people. They're all the best and brightest kids in the band or in the school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was, when I actually got the call to come down here, I was headed to go take another job in Houston. And I was about an hour out in Waxahachie, and Mr. Gibson called me and said, do you want to come be band director? And I turned right back around and I came here, you know? So, yeah, it's great. It's something that I really appreciate.
How do you think, you know, teaching here at Townview differs to teaching at, say, another school? Or how the students are different, you know?
I would say y'all are very book smart, you know? Y'all are some very bright kids. Like, we have kids who are in ninth grade taking pre-cal.
Yeah.
And that's not usual, but here it's like, oh, of course you did that, you know? And it's really amazing because you can see how these kids really work for what they have, and it's great. Y'all are just naturally talented and very smart.
Appreciate it.
How have you worked on making the band such a successful program?
I think it really starts from the inside. One, with discipline, and two, with building those relationships again. Without the relationships, them kids will do whatever they want. Y'all all have a teacher that, like, I don't really like them. You might not do the best in that class, you know. But if you like the teacher, you're gonna follow what they do. Yeah. So one thing that one of my mentors used to tell me is that if you deposit into people, it'll be easy to withdraw from them, right? So we deposit into the kids a lot, and when it's time to say, hey, let's go, let's do this, we withdraw from them. They always give it right back. So it's real nice.
And so, what does like an average day look like in the Big D band, like in a classroom? You know, how do you guys go about building, sustaining that success?
I think, especially in class, one thing I love to work on is fundamentals. Without fundamentals, you will not succeed as a band program, right? So that's your scales. You have all the fingerings down for your instrument. Are you making a good tone? All that. That's what I love to work on, and through that makes you better at the music naturally. So you don't have to sit there and work one measure over and over and over, and then you really didn't learn anything. You just learned how to play that one measure, you know?
Oh, I see. And so you build it up, and then that can lead into other things. Yeah.
So the Big D band has like won a lot of stuff and accomplished a lot of things, but what has been most important to you?
Most important to me, accomplishments-wise, I really like that Grammy that, you know, they won.
We're going to bring it up, the Grammy. Yeah.
I really like that Grammy that they won. That's something, no matter where you're in the music industry, you will want to win a Grammy, you know? That's just something that's really special.
And so what was the Grammy for in specific?
Oh, it was just for the overall wellness of the fine arts program here at Townview, because there's always been a sustained level of excellence and level of historical greatness, you know. When people see Townview, no matter where they're from, they know who it is. They know what's coming. So,
so yeah, like you said, with that sustained and that legacy of greatness, how do you plan to continue that moving forward? You know, keep that sustained.
I think you just have to set the bar high. If you set it low, they will meet it low. You know, if you set it high, they will always meet the expectation. You know, when you first, especially when you first get to a program, you might have to work, your way around kind of the expectation you have them. But slowly, you take it up over and over, they're going to end up meeting it.
Do you have any advice for people who are transitioning from high school to college?
I would say just do your work. In most classes, if you just show up and do the work, you'll at least get a C, And that's at least a C. If you do well on your test, you can get a B or an A. So if you really just have to lock in and do the work. You can do the partying and going out with your friends. You can do that later. Yeah. But really lock in and do that work because you pay for those classes, so you need you need to get your money's worth,
And so another thing, what has been your biggest challenge so far, or the hardest part in your first year?
My biggest challenge for my first year is probably that the job is pretty demanding time-wise. So
I can imagine.
We get here around 7 a.m., and most days we leave around 7 p.m., right? In the fall, that was sunrise to sunset, basically, So you came in, it was dark. You leave, and it's dark. But that's what you have to do to get a quality program. A lot of these kids, they want to be here, and who are we to shut them out and say, "Oh, I want to go home." You can't practice, So we really open it up so that they have the freedom to practice and do the things they need to do.
Right. And what would you say to somebody who's interested in joining the band?
If you're interested in joining the band, it's very worthwhile. This is big scholarship money when you get into college. I went to PV. I got $10K a year just to play saxophone, So if I can do that, you can do that. All you need to do is put in the work. While it may seem like it might be expensive now because we have few band fees, that's why I hear a lot of people say that the band fee is too expensive. But in the long run, you're going to get 10, 20, 40K just playing your instrument. And this is a lifelong thing. Even after you graduate college, you can go play gigs for money. We have people who pay their rent and bills just off playing the instrument. Just roll a little speaker out there and do some little notes, and people pay you big money. So this is something that lifelong can be amazing for you.
You talked about going over the fundamentals with your kids a lot. Is there anything differently that you do next year in a way of teaching your kids how to just...
Well, this year, I was more trying to feel where the students are at, It's very different at every school because, especially here, we don't have a feeder pattern, right? So these kids come from anywhere. You might have a kid who came from a great band program who knows all their scales, they can play anything you ask them. And you might have a kid whose teacher, wasn't too great in middle school. And you got to teach them from the bottom. So I think next year we really have to start stacking from the top as if you're building a house, right? You got to build a really good foundation. So we need to start all the way at the beginning and really stack upon what we have so they can be autonomous musicians and we don't have to sit there and, explain every little thing to them because it's always been explained before.
And what about, we know the band goes on a lot of trips and everything. What's one of those favorite experiences or concerts that you've been to?
Here?
Yeah.
I think the New Orleans trip was very good. It's something that gives exposure to the students. With band, like at PV, I had the chance to march in New York. And that's something that we want to give everybody the chance to do. Band can help you travel everywhere. So a lot of these kids, a lot of people in general, just people, they don't leave the country, let alone leave the state. So we have a chance to take students out. No matter if we win, lose, or draw, it's always a positive in my mind.
They get that new experience and they see new things.
You talked about exposure and how you have to kind of get out there. Do you have any advice for anyone who's going through a major shift in life and having to get used to that?
For me, for major shifts in life, I really like to think about just locking in, right? There's a big part of focusing on what you need to do and what you should do. And you know what you should do.
Yeah.
And you know what you could be doing, right? But you really have to focus in on things you should do and not the things you want to do. You're really doing a big shift in life. that focus is what's going to make that shift easier. If you don't focus, that shift is going to be really, really hard.
It's easy to get distracted.
You're going to get distracted very hard, very bad. And that big shift with good focus can be something that's not really as big as you thought it was.
Kind of a simple question, but like, what's your favorite band instrument?
Band instrument? I'm really partial to euphonium. I don't know why. I play saxophone. That's my original instrument. I played that for 10 years. But I really love the sound of the euphonium. It's very warm. You can play as low as a tuba, and you can play as high as like a trumpet. You know? So it's something that gives you a big, big range, and you can do so many things with it. You can do marching band, you can do concert band, you can do orchestra. It's everywhere. So I love euphonium.
And as associate director of bands, what are some duties that you do on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I handle a lot of the day-to-day handling with the kids. So they have any questions, they come to me first, you know, before they go to Mr. Gibson.
Okay,
Yeah, so they have questions about rhythms, notes, how do you play this, how do you do this technique, you know, those things. Right now I'm getting a lot of music together for our upcoming year, so I'm finding music, I'm writing music, I'm uploading this so that everybody can see it. I help a lot of students with their homework, which is something that I didn't expect, you know. It's been a while since I've been in high school. You know, give me 10 minutes, I'm going to figure it out. But when a kid comes to me with chemistry homework, I'm like, oh.
Didn't expect that.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to Google it a little bit, then I'll help you learn it, you know. But, yeah, those are most things I do on a day-to-day basis.
When it comes to the classroom specifically, what's like your absolute favorite thing about being a teacher?
Favorite thing in the classroom? I really like to see the joy on kids' face once they get it, you know, because it gets rough, you know, when you're first learning stuff, and especially if it's something that's hard and
like for the beginning students.
Yeah, they're day after day, especially if you keep messing it up, you get really defeated. So when you finally do have it, and you know your teacher gives you that, wow, this is good.
Yeah.
It makes them feel good, and that's what I like to see.
Kind of like that. It's kind of like more of an experience, you know, that you
Yeah.
see, and that's kind of like, from what I get, what you're saying, it's kind of like the biggest award, you know,
Yeah.
seeing those kids advance, you know, and learn that new skill.
What's your favorite thing about hearing them all on the field?
On the field, me, I'm just really competitive. So, like I said, I went to a school that marched in UIL State. So that when I got to that school, it was the first year it opened. So we weren't the worst band, but we weren't the best band, you know. So slowly, in our second year, we made state, which is a common for most people. So you know, as a competitive person, I like to talk trash a little bit, you know. So every time we saw the other bands, we talked a little trash. They were also very talented, you know. They just weren't talented as us, you know what I'm saying? So I like to do the same thing here. So when we're on the field and we're playing, we're going to go up to directors and say, hey, I know you hear that, you know what I'm saying? I know you don't have nothing to answer for that, you know? So that's really my favorite thing, seeing on the field and talking the things that they can really back up.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like we've seen the big growth of the band, you know. How have y'all worked to really grow the program and add more students?
It really starts in the school. So I think when we first got here, Mr. Gibson said there's probably about 50 kids at the band camp. Now we're, you know, up in the hundreds, you know, and we didn't get any new freshmen. We just asked people around the school, do you want to join? One thing we don't do is turn people around, you know, regardless of the situation. You can't afford to do blah, blah, or you don't have the time or something. We're going to find a way to make it work for everybody. So that's something that really has grown the program. And over time, after they see the success that they get, all of a sudden they have the time. They have the resources, you know. So it's just growing from inside is really what makes the band bigger, faster than growing from outside, especially because we don't have a feeder pattern.
So to close out, you know, here in transition, what would you say is your one goal for in the near future for the Big D band?
In the near future, we need to get a big goal is to get ones at UIL and to get first place at every competition we go to. You know, there shouldn't be even a thought of second place in our mind.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that should never happen. So a big goal is to just compete, win, do the best that we possibly can. Because if we're doing what we need to do, there's nobody in the country that can beat us. So,
big words. I like it though.
right.
All right, well, that's going to close it out for this first part. Thank you, Mr. Gibson, for sharing your time and being with us.
No problem, no problem.
Thank you, and we're going to go ahead and take a quick break.
Yes,
We'll be right
sir.
back.
Yo, what's up, KSBM family? Currently enjoying the show? But don't leave us just yet. We will be right back after this short break.
You're rocking with the voice of Town View. We put our spin on trending topics and school news. Thought-provoking, insightful, we speak the truth. We do it for all ages, not just for the youth. Listen close, you might learn something. Or laugh so hard, you split your side of something. Live stream a podcast. Whenever you tune in, it's sure to be a blast. Let's be honest, you don't want to miss that. Content so real, you're going to want to run it back. We keep you entertained while making an impact. Want foreign announcements? Well, this is not that. Sports, pop, culture, political. Whatever you like, we got you covered, bro. It's a movement more than just a show. It's KSBM Radio.
Come closer to the music.
Broadcasting live from Marvin E. Robinson School of Business and Management, Dallas, Texas.
My radio station.
We are KSBM Radio, the voice of Town View.
Welcome back, everyone, to KSBM Radio, the voice of Town View. And as we continue this little band segment, we have somebody else. We have the director of percussion, Mr. Walker.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, why'd you say as we continue this little band session? Ain't nothing little about the Big D
this
band.
big band session. My fault. All right, so Mr. Walker, can you give yourself a quick introduction to people who may not already know you?
My name is Jerry Walker. I have been here 21 years. Can you imagine? I've been here longer than all of you guys have been alive. I went to college at Texas Southern University. I got an undergrad degree there. I went to Dallas Baptist. Like I said, this is my 21st year here.
Wow.
I started fresh out of college, and I've been winning ever since. Percussion-wise, this is my 21st year, and in 21 years, I have only lost 3 times in 21 years.
Dang.
That's impressive.
I'm just saying.
Is that 19 and... Can I do math?
19 and 3.
19 and 3?
There are a few percussion competitions in there, so I think I added up. It's like 41 and 3 or something like that.
Wow. That's a pretty good record.
That's GOAT status. That is GOAT status. Come on, guys.
All right, so let's rewind a bit. Where did you go to high school, and how did that start your passion for music?
Good question. I am originally from Houston, Texas, born and raised. I played. This is a fun fact. Nobody ever knows. This is going to be the first time I've ever said this. In middle school, I went to a school called Missouri City Middle School. I played tuba.
Tuba.
Don't tell nobody else. Mr. Ward is looking like, oh, really? I played tuba, but the mouthpiece was too expensive. And so I played tuba for maybe half a semester, and when it was time for me to buy the mouthpiece, my mom said the mouthpiece was too expensive, so she went and got me some $8 sticks. And, so, and I've been playing percussion basically ever since.
That's one way to start.
And then, was there a specific influence in particular that sparked your interest in music?
It's a very good question. I had my background in church. I played drums in church. And so it was a natural progression from being a church musician going into middle school, into high school. When I went to high school, I started playing football on the 9th grade team and played wide receiver. And I was a little fast, but I was very, very skinny. I came across the middle one time, and the guy hit me so hard, I just realized that I never wanted that feeling again.
Yeah.
And so I left the football field and joined the band the very same day.
Yeah.
So, but influences just came from church. There was a school called Jersey Village in my area that was really, really, really good. And I just knew I wanted the drum line to look like that.
You talked about going from football to band. How do you react to the change from high school to college?
The jump wasn't very hard for me because I was from the area. I knew a lot of guys that were there. The only difference was I was an adult, if you will. I have an identical twin brother. I don't know if anyone knows. I have an identical twin brother. He went to Prairie View, and I went to TSU. And the only difference was, for the first time in life, I did not have my twin brother with me. And so outside of that, though, it wasn't a major jump because I stayed at home. I went and played in the band for a little bit, just a little bit. I didn't play band all my 4 years at TSU.
Oh, really? So if you didn't play band there, what would you say pushed you to getting into being a music teacher, and that is your career?
Very good question. If I'm honest, I would say music saved my life, and it is that inspiration that allows me to do what I do. I believe that music is one of the greatest things that we have on this planet. And I believe that if you take it serious, it'll take you so far in life. And so because, I grew up in the inner city, if I would have to equate where I grew up, it would be like the Oak Cliff of Houston. And so drugs, gangs, all of those kind of things, I just did not allow that to be my reality. And so band gave me an out for that. And so because of that, I want to give it out to some kids here from Oak Cliff, Pleasant Grove.
Were your plans always to teach?
That's a good question. No. No, y'all ask really good questions.
What did you originally plan to do?
To be honest,
I
really wanted to be a pastor.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm a youth pastor here in the city. I never really wanted to teach. I just wanted to do this sort of part-time. And Mr. Hill, the guy who started the band program, was like, man, we need some help. And I started part-time, and then he said, well, the job is yours if you want it. So I've been here ever since. No, I really just wanted to be a pastor and do ministry. That's what I wanted to do.
And the part-time turned into the full thing?
Yes.
What do you think is the best part about just being in the band?
The best part of being in a band? Family, community.
So like that social tie.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just growing together. You make friends for life. You have friends that, that can grow with you. A couple students of mine, one student just got married this past weekend, and he moved to New York, but he came back here to get married on Saturday, stopped by his wedding, and he had 7 groomsmen, and 6 out of those 7 groomsmen were high school bandmates that he had here.
Wow.
Like crazy, I know. Yeah. And so that in my personal opinion, is one of the biggest things, is family, community.
Over the past 20 years, how has the band grown?
I mean,
seen a lot.
we've seen a lot.
Yeah.
We've had one of the things I love about Townview that I will say up until recently, up until the pandemic, is we never had to rebuild. We just had to retool. And so we've always marched 120 to 150. I think right before the pandemic, we were at 128, and then the pandemic came, and so we got smaller.
That changed a lot. Yeah.
It did, and so we've grown. But I mean, I've seen a lot. We have performed for the Super Bowl, the Mavericks, the Cowboys, the Rangers. We've got presidential inauguration invitations. I mean, anything major that comes to the city, they call us. So I've seen a lot, guys. I don't know. I can't put one in it. There's not that one moment, I guess. Maybe this year. Well, one of the highlights I'll say is watching Mr. Gibson, who was one of our former students, now become the head band director. That is I believe one of our most proudest moments, is having somebody come back and take over the band program.
And then over the past 20 years, what has been the biggest challenge you faced?
Not having a feeder program, not having a direct feeder program. When you see some of the really good band programs, they have 2 to 3 middle schools that they can draw from.
And with Townview, you have people coming
everywhere, but everybody can't get in. And so if we could find a way to have a direct feeder program, I think that would be better. But that's been one of the biggest challenges, is not knowing if you're going to have 35 kids or just 6 kids to come in a band. And so what we've had to do is we've had to build from within. And so we'll take somebody like you who never had any musical experience whatsoever, and we can make you an all-state player. I believe we really could. We can make you an all-state player. And I think that's been one of the biggest flexes, that we can take a kid who has never played an instrument before and put them around other good kids and make them very good.
Do you think there's a difference with working with Townview students from other schools?
Yeah, because I go and help other schools. There's a big difference.
How do we compare, you know?
I want to say this right.
Yeah.
One of the things that makes Townview great is the environment here. And everyone's environment is not a Townview environment. And so even though you'll have a very talented kid at another school, because they're not in an environment that is conducive to learning, it's just different.
Yeah.
And so when I go to other schools, there are some challenges that other schools have to face that Townview does not have to face. Even though we have our own set of challenges, it is still the greatest school on this planet. I believe that wholeheartedly. And so that one of the challenges is just making sure that there's an environment for learning. And I think that's the biggest that's the biggest challenge, if you will.
So you mentioned how, you know, because y'all's lack of a feeder program, y'all have a lot of kids that are starting from zero. So how do y'all work to build those kids up? What does it look like making somebody who's never touched an instrument to becoming a great player?
Patience. Understanding that, you know, if you have musical ability, putting someone on the side of you that doesn't, you just have to have patience in order for the teacher as well as the student. It just patience, fundamentals. We really focus and keying in on fundamentals. That is what separates us from everyone else. Is because we are so fundamentally sound that it's like a basketball. If I could use a basketball analogy. You can't go and dunk if you don't know how to dribble. You know what I'm saying? Some people really want to just go and dunk the basketball, but they don't know how to dribble. They don't know how to shoot free throws. They don't know how to, you know. And so we try to incorporate fundamentals so that the kid who has never played can sit on the side of a kid who can play, and they can match and merge because they both have the same fundamentals.
You talked about how the Big D band over the years has seen a lot things.
A lot.
Over the years, how have you contributed to the success of the program?
Oh, you know, I like to say I'm over the coolest section in the band. Everybody wants to be a drummer, you know. The drummers are the cool kids in the bunch. They're also the baddest. I'm just playing. What we've done, what I've done is longevity plays a major part in it. And because there is a structure in place, I believe that we just continue to adapt that structure. And so one of the things that I'm over recruitment. We've seen major number of recruitments. While I was in the green room, band director from Travis called and said, "Hey, I need you to get by. We got some kids that's waiting to see you." So I'm going to go visit them today. I'm over recruitment. I'm also over fundraising for the band. If anybody wants to give to the Big D Band, you can cash it. I'm just playing.
If I can get some volunteer hours, I'm more than willing to do it.
Oh, you can get volunteer hours. You absolutely can.
Speak after this show.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to talk about that.
I contribute to anything percussion related. I also write for the band. I write some of our band tunes. This year, I wrote a song that I believe was very good. It's called. It's by Eric Benet and Tamia. The name escapes me, but I wrote it. It was a fire piece of arrangement, and so I contribute in a multiplicities of ways. Those are just some to name a few.
Yeah. So, as director of percussion, how do you think, you know, with your job, how does it differentiate, and what are some unique things about the kids that you see over it?
If I can be honest, kids are different these days. They're not the same kids that were 10 years ago.
Really?
You guys are different. And different doesn't mean bad. Just different just means different. And it's not who's better, who's worse. It's just different. One of the things that we're seeing now is we have to really ensure that what we're saying is being conveyed in a way that's understood to the student. And so, because if I say something to you and you don't understand it, did you really get what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
So is that a teacher or is that a student? Well, we don't know. We just have to make sure that what we're having to do now is ensuring that what we're saying is being conveyed in a way that everyone, because when you have over 100 kids, everyone we don't learn the same, we don't listen the same, we don't practice the same. And so one of the things we're having to do is making sure that what we're saying is being conveyed to over 100 kids, and over 100 kids are being able to understand it.
Right.
So the band was able to win a Grammy. How big of an impact was this to you?
You know, I like to tell people I am a Grammy award-winning band. You don't know who you're talking to.
I'll show that off all the time.
I mean,
That's just me.
it was a major accomplishment. It really was. It was a major accomplishment. But I think that it played a lot of that played a part into just having longevity of being a great program. We have strived on making sure that we give kids good quality instructions, and because of that, we're just happy and fortunate that somebody saw that and said, "You guys are awesome. Here's a Grammy."
Yeah.
And so,
When you started 21 years ago, did
you keep emphasizing that 21 years response.
It's just crazy to me.
Over 20 years. Over 20 years.
I like it when she says it better. Over 20 years. No, I'm just like,
But did you ever think that you'd get to the point where you'd see the band get a
wow.
Grammy?
No, it wasn't something we thought about doing. If I'm real honest, you know, if you've ever been to our band room, you understand it is very small. When they built the band room, they only thought that we would only grow to 35, 40 kids.
Wow.
We surpassed that 2 years upon opening the school. And so, if I'm being very honest, I never thought that we would get to this point where we would have the longevity and the sustained amount of success that we've had. And I think it just contributes to us as directors continue to growing, continue learning, continue to seeing what's out there. But no, I never thought we would get a Grammy. I just thought we would just keep beating everybody, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
Are there
That'll
any
work, too.
plans you have for the future?
Plans for the future. I don't really know how much longer I'm going to do this.
What you mean? I thought you're the GOAT.
I am the GOAT, and sometimes it's time for the GOAT to say goodbye. I'm still having fun. I am still having fun. I just had a birthday a couple weeks ago, and I'm still early 40s, so I'm not terribly old. I'm still young. I'm still having fun. I'm probably get this another 8 to 10 years, and then let somebody else do it. One of my goals is next year we want to compete on a higher level, and so we're training for that now. When I say a higher level, there is something called WGI, which is Renegade International. No school. We are what most people would consider a show band, and so no show band has ever competed on that level and done well. It is our goal next year to compete on that level and not just go and say we showed up, but to win. And so that is one of our immediate goals as a percussion section, is to go and do that at a high level.
All right, so we brought up the Grammy, but what is another award or achievement or maybe experience that has really stood out to you?
When President Obama invited us to come down, that was major. When he got elected as president, that was major. We also got invited to Beijing, China for the Olympics.
Wow, across the world is crazy.
The district said no, but we did get invited. I think, but if I had to be honest, when we did the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl was here in Dallas, and the only thing that was sad about it is that the Cowboys were not playing in it, but outside of that, it was fun times.
How do you plan on sustaining the success of the program?
And
after you're gone?
After I'm gone, I said, oof. Well, hopefully I'm training my successor right now, or I have, and one of the hopefully one of the kids that we have taught will come back and take over. But I one of the things that we're doing is we're compiling a catalog of music, and so that when I'm gone, the next person does not have to reinvent the wheel, but they can just look at it and retool the wheel, if you will.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we hope to do is continue to put literature and information out there so that the next person will come in can just take the program and run with it as well.
Do you have
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, but I do hope that it is one of the students that we have taught or I am currently teaching right now.
Do you have any advice for anyone who wants to join the band?
Yeah, come win. We winners over here. That's all we do is win. I thought that was my theme song, but Khalid couldn't pull it up. I don't know what he was doing. I want my theme song to be played, like Dion when Dion comes. I'm just playing.
Oh, yeah.
We really want to just continue to give quality instruction, and hopefully that will continue to equate in winning. We are a program that does not know what it is to lose very, very much. We go all across this country and win. Some guys are will go and just win 1 or 2 battle of the bands in their local areas. We have been fortunate that we have taken the kids all across this country, Florida, Georgia, D.C., New York. We've gone everywhere, Arkansas, Alabama, and we've won. And I think that is a testament to the fact that, we believe that we have some of the greatest kids on the planet, and that shows every time we go up and we take home a first place trophy.
What's your favorite experience about being in the band, like either in the classroom or on the field?
Well, in the classroom, I like it when a kid has been struggling, and they finally get that light bulb moment, and they're like, oh, now I understand. That to me, I promise, it gives me chill bumps still to this day. I promise, I'm not exaggerating. When a struggling kid has been struggling and they finally get it, or a kid who didn't know how to hold a pair of sticks, but by the end of the year is going to state on the field, Mr. Wood talked about talking noise. He is really not a noise talker. That's me and Mr. Gibson. We talk noise. I talk noise all the time. I'm in the group chat. All we do is talk noise. When we had a battle of bands in January, and we won in our division, and so I was texting the band directors and talking noise like, so who came to get second place today? But that's because we believe that our kids are some of the greatest. So
it's a mentality.
Yeah.
But what advice would you have for anyone who's going through a major shift in their life?
Shift in their life. Okay, now this is pastoral. Don't do it by yourself. Don't do it by yourself. Get around people that could help you. I think one of the biggest struggles that I think people feel like is, I'm in this by myself, and you're not. And so if you would get with other people around you, get around other people who may have gone through similar life challenges and things like that. This is not the first time, you struggled. This is not the first time. You're not the first person to struggle. So go and get some help. Go and find somebody who possibly has gone through that before and get help.
And then we've talked about the Grammy and the Obama inauguration, but what has been the biggest recognition you've seen for the Big D Band? Or your most favorite?
Oh, okay. Recently, they did a poll. USA Today did a poll on the top 10 bands in the country, and we are still in the top 10.
Nationwide. Yeah.
And we're still in the top 10. And so
you need to be top 1 though.
I mean, there's a little school just a little south from here called Cedar Hill. We're coming for you, okay, guy? We're coming for you. Cedar Hill has a very good program. They've ranked them the #1 school.
Wow.
And they're pretty solid, But what they are doing, we have already done before. And so we're coming for you.
Y'all ain't safe.
Nobody's safe.
All right, well, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up. I want to thank you for your time and giving us, all your stories and everything.
I appreciate y'all. I just don't understand why it took 21 years to get me up here. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. I've been here. No, I'm just
as soon as we got here, we called you up.
I appreciate it. Okay. They don't treat me like this at the Breakfast Club. I don't know. No, I'm just
All right, well, that's been it from KSBM Radio. This has been Mo.
I'm Nemo.
AG.
And Starfire.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate y'all.
Make sure y'all
Tune into all
our socials. Check out the Big D Band on theirs. They're active on there as well. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for listening to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
My radio station.
We hope you enjoyed the great content and great discussion, all from a student's perspective. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for the latest updates at KSBM_TVT or on Facebook at KSBM Radio.
Add them on Facebook.
Check them on Facebook.
Take care.